Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a legend so utterly iconic, it feels etched into our collective consciousness. The opera ghost. You know the image, don't you? A phantom figure of terror and mystery, cloaked in shadow, haunting the opulent labyrinthine halls of the Paris Opera House. A maestro of fear, a whisper in the dark, a genius of torment.
Definitely.
But here's the kicker, the truly mind-bending detail that anchors our deep dive today. What if we told you that the author himself, Gaston Leroux, emphatically claimed this wasn't just a captivating piece of Gothic fiction,
Right.
but a meticulously undertaken real-life investigation?
Yeah, that's the hook, isn't it? He insists on it.
That's right. Our mission today is to truly embrace the audacious challenge Leroux laid down in his very own prologue, to uncover whether the opera ghost truly existed in flesh and blood, as he so boldly asserted. We're not just reading a story, we're delving into his painstaking inquiry, guided by his own words from the prologue and various chapters presented here, as well as his personal notes, interviews, and groundbreaking findings.
It's like he's presenting evidence.
Exactly. So prepare yourselves, because the verifiable, chilling truths behind this legend are far more surprising and poignant than you might ever have imagined.
What's immediately fascinating here is Leroux's deliberate choice of framing. He doesn't begin like a novelist spinning some fantastical tale. He positions himself as like a diligent reporter, almost a detective. He outright dismisses the notion that the opera ghost was merely a creature of the imagination of the artists, or a product of the absurd and impressionable brains of the young ladies of the ballet.
He's quite firm on that point.
Very. For Leroux, this wasn't about charming readers with fiction. It was a quest for verifiable truth, a matter of cold, hard facts amidst all the swirling rumors and terror.
And what a bold declaration it is. Leroux isn't easing us into anything. He's stating unequivocally that the ghost really existed and was in flesh and blood, despite, as he says, assuming the complete appearance of a real phantom.
Yeah. And the central mystery he sought to unravel, this bedrock of his investigation, was what he called the most extraordinary and fantastic tragedy among the Paris upper classes.
Which became known as the Shauni case, right?
Exactly, the Shauni case.
Right.
And the examining magistrate at the time, faced with a baffling lack of, conventional evidence, initially dismissed the whole affair. Just wrote it off as madness of the Viscount and the accidental death of the elder brother.
Not enough proof for him.
Precisely. And this deliberate choice to frame it as the Shauni case, a real-world legal term for an unsolved crime, immediately signals Leroux's intent. He's consciously blurring the lines between Gothic fiction and actual crime reporting.
Inviting us to treat it like a cold case.
That's it. This is where he introduces his crucial, albeit eccentric witness, the Persian.
Ah, yes, the Persian. The magistrate thought he was unreliable.
Totally dismiss him as a visionary.
Yeah.
Someone whose testimony couldn't possibly be trusted. However, the Persian, whose true identity Leroux never fully reveals, was actually apparently a former police chief from Isfahan.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, with this unparalleled knowledge of subterranean passages and the darker aspects of human nature, his so-called eccentricity likely stemmed from his unique experiences with figures like Erik, making him maybe the only one truly equipped to follow the ghost's cryptic trail.
So it was his accounts, his testimony, that convinced Leroux.
It was his detailed accounts and the proofs he provided, including Christine Daaé's strange correspondence, that ultimately convinced Leroux the ghost was no myth.
What exactly was this strange correspondence? Was it just letters?
Well, it wasn't just a few letters. Leroux describes it as more complex, like a series of encrypted musical scores, coded messages, fragments of a secret language shared between Erik and Christine.
Really? That intricate?
Apparently so. This level of, almost obsessive detail unearthed from the Persian's proofs really hints at the depth of Erik's manipulative genius and the strange, almost intimate nature of their hidden relationship. He goes way beyond simple ghostly encounters.
It really speaks to Leroux's journalistic approach, doesn't it? Digging into everything.
It does. He's trying to build a case.
And the ultimate undeniable confirmation for Leroux, the crown jewel of his labors, came years later. He vividly describes a wonderful discovery.
Right, during the excavations.
Exactly. In the opera substructure, they were burying phonographic records of artists' voices deep below workmen laid bare a corpse.
Chilling.
And Leroux claims he was at once able to prove that this corpse was that of the opera ghost. This firmly plants the ghost, whom he identifies as Erik, into the realm of physical, undeniable reality for him.
It's no longer just a story. It's forensic evidence, in his view.
A crime scene with a body.
It's a powerful move by Leroux, definitely. But before this discovery, what were the initial curious manifestations? The things that led people to believe in a ghost in the first place. Leroux spends quite a bit of time on these early eyewitness accounts.
He does, building the legend piece by piece.
Right, and they meticulously build this chilling, almost physical picture of this entity before Erik's true identity is even hinted at. These aren't just vague scares, they're specific, terrifying incidents.
Building on those whispers, Leroux then takes us to the really chilling eyewitness accounts. Things that began to shape the ghost's physical legend, moving beyond just a spectral presence to something far more tangible and terrifying.
Like Joseph Buquet's story.
Exactly. Joseph Buquet, the chief scene shifter, he described seeing a gentleman in dress clothes who had suddenly stood before them. He seemed to have come straight through the wall.
Which is spooky enough.
Right. But the chilling detail, the one that truly cemented the legend and sent shivers down everyone's spine, was that this dress suit had a peculiarity of its own. It covered a skeleton. And of course, it had a death's head.
A skeleton in a tuxedo. It's almost absurdly terrifying.
I know. Can you imagine seeing that? I think I'd quit on the spot. It's almost comically horrifying, yet utterly effective in cementing the legend.
It's grotesque, yet unforgettable. And the descriptions only escalate, don't they? Fueling the terror and twisting logic, like that incident with the fireman, Pompignan.
Oh yeah, the fiery head.
Right. He practically fainted after seeing a head of fire coming toward him without a body attached to it.
Just a floating head of fire.
And rather than dismissing this, seemingly contradictory account, the ballet girls, gripped by fear, concluded that the ghost had several heads, which he changed about as he pleased.
Wow. Fear really does warp perception.
It's a fascinating insight, isn't it, into how fear and a lack of understanding can allow for such a flexible, even fantastical interpretation of events. It just solidifies the legend even further. Speaks volumes about the psychological impact Erik had.
And then there's Madame Giry, the ever-superstitious boxkeeper.
Madame Giry, with her horseshoe.
Yeah. She would actually place a horseshoe on the table in front of the stage doorkeeper box for protection against this unseen presence.
Yeah.
Any mishap, a stagehand's fall, a lost prop, a creak.
It was the ghost's fault.
Exactly. At once the fault of the ghost. So, if Leroux is truly trying to prove the ghost existed in flesh and blood, why does he include these seemingly superstitious accounts, like the horseshoe? What's the point?
Well, I think it's a brilliant narrative strategy. Leroux understands that a legend isn't just built on singular sightings, it's reinforced by collective belief, by the rituals people adopt to cope with the unknown.
So Madame Giry's superstition kind of grounds the fear.
Exactly. It anchors the ghost in the everyday reality of the opera house. It shows the fear wasn't just a fleeting fright, it was a persistent psychological presence woven into the daily fabric of the place. It lends credibility to the atmosphere of terror, making the eventual reveal of Erik's tangible existence all the more impactful.
Okay, that makes sense. And this widespread belief leads us directly to the infamous Box 5.
Ah, Box 5. Always reserved.
Yes, the legendary Box 5. Leroux's notes confirm it was never sold to the public, strictly reserved for the ghost. He recounts incidents where Madame Giry, acting on the ghost's behalf, received a box of English sweets in exchange for a fan left behind by the ghost and his mysterious lady.
Sweets for a lost fan. Seems almost polite.
Deceptively so. What's truly extraordinary is that the previous managers, Debian and Poligny, actually confirmed the ghost's specific requests. They were communicated in this strange memorandum book.
With a red ink.
That's it, with a paragraph in red ink written by the ghost himself. So this entity wasn't just a specter. He was an active, demanding, almost managerial presence within the opera's operations.
Yeah, a demanding presence with a very specific set of requirements. Which is crucial, really. It elevates the ghost from just a haunting presence to an entity with agency, with clear, albeit unsettling, control over the opera's finances and protocols.
That memorandum book makes it feel almost bureaucratic.
It does. The red ink demands transform the abstract terror into a bureaucratic nightmare. It signals that the ghost, Erik, was deeply embedded in the mechanics of the opera, not just lurking, but actively dictating terms. Establishes his power, his meticulous nature.
And it definitely foreshadows the profound influence he's about to wield over Christine Daaé.
Absolutely. The stage is now perfectly set for her entrance.
Right. We're introduced to Christine Daaé, a young, unknown singer with this fascinating, almost mythical backstory. Grew up in Sweden, her father, a renowned violinist.
An angel of music.
Exactly. He instilled in her this profound belief in an angel of music who would one day guide her voice. And we also learn of her tender early connection with Raoul, the Vicomte de Chagny.
The scarf incident by the sea.
Yeah, sharing Breton legends, him rescuing her scarf. A childhood connection.
But her sudden rise to stardom is truly inexplicable, isn't it? Adding another layer of mystery to her connection with the opera's hidden presence.
Totally. During a grand gala performance, Christine, stepping in for the ill Carlotta, delivers this superhuman triumph as Margarita in Faust.
The audience went wild.
Leroux writes they went mad, rising to its feet, shouting, cheering, clapping. But what was so baffling, the mystery, was that she had no known singing professor. How could this unknown, supposedly untaught voice suddenly command such power?
Was it supernatural talent or supernaturally engineered? That's the question.
And this is precisely where Raoul, who was completely captivated, utterly smitten, tries desperately to see Christine after her performance.
Leading to that pivotal moment outside her dressing room.
Oh, absolutely pivotal. Heart-stopping, really. He overhears a man's voice telling Christine with this chilling possessiveness, "You must love me."
And her reply? Devastating.
"Tonight I gave you my soul and I am dead." It's an aha moment for us, right? It reveals a much deeper, far more personal, and undeniably sinister connection than anyone suspected.
Yeah, it shifts everything. This isn't just ghostly encounters anymore. It's a twisted, dangerous romance brewing in the shadows. And Christine's subsequent behavior really confirms that. It isn't just troubling, it's a stark indicator that her angel of music relationship is far more sinister and controlling than Raoul could have imagined.
She avoids him completely.
Actively avoids him, showing absolute dismay, seeming genuinely frightened by what had happened to her. This profound fear is a clear sign her connection isn't benevolent guidance, it's coercion, terror. She's being led down a path she can't control.
So Raoul, desperate for answers, consumed by this growing dread, he follows her, all the way to her father's grave in Paros.
A very atmospheric setting for a confession.
Incredibly. And here, in this eerie, almost sacred scene, he hears divine violin music, seemingly coming from the grave itself.
Chilling.
It's here, in this most intimate moment, that Christine finally confesses the truth. Her angel of music is a man named Erik.
The first time the name is spoken.
Yes. And he comes to give her lessons daily in your dressing room. She warns Raoul, terrified, that it's the most awful mystery on this earth. Any illusion of a benevolent spirit is just shattered.
And Erik quickly moves from the shadows into terrifyingly direct action, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The mystery deepens, but his presence becomes undeniable.
Oh, yeah. He makes that dramatic appearance as the Red Death at the masked ball.
Confirming Christine's terror and fueling Raoul's suspicions.
And then comes the catastrophe, the chandelier.
The ultimate act of terror. The managers, fearing the ghost's power in Box 5, hear Erik's distinct, mouthless voice commanding, "She is singing tonight," to bring the chandelier down.
And he does it. With devastating precision, the immense chandelier plunges into the stalls,
Killing the concierge whom Monsieur Richard had just appointed to replace Madame Mégérie. A direct message.
It's not just a warning anymore, it's deliberate terror, proving Erik's capacity for violence and showing who really controls the opera.
And after that chaos, Christine vanishes.
Gone from the stage as though the angels had really carried her up to rest, leaving Raoul utterly despairing, lost.
Which forces him to team up with the Persian.
Reluctantly, yes. The very man who convinced Leroux of Erik's existence, they have to venture into the opera's terrifying underbelly.
The enormous and five-tiered cellars. A labyrinth.
Where the gasmen say, there are demons down there. And the Persian's intimate, almost uncanny knowledge of Erik's secret passages and hidden lair becomes absolutely critical.
He's the only guide possible in that world.
A world only Erik and he truly understood.
And their horrifying journey culminates in the discovery of Erik's inner sanctum. That six-cornered room, completely covered with mirrors.
With the iron tree for hanged men.
Grim. Incredibly grim. It's here, in this claustrophobic, psychologically tormenting space, that Erik forces Christine into that impossible, barbaric choice. The wedding mass or the requiem mass.
The mirrors aren't just decoration, are they?
No, No, they're designed to amplify terror, make her feel utterly exposed, trapped within her own reflection while contemplating this horrifying fate. It's a stark, brutal revelation of his power, his twisted intentions, and the depth of his psychological torture.
And it's in this dark, mirrored chamber that Erik finally makes his desperate, raw confession to Christine.
All I wanted was to be loved for myself.
Yeah, if you loved me, I should be as gentle as a lamb. He then starts revealing his extraordinary gifts, the ventriloquism.
The greatest ventriloquist that ever lived. He explains how he uses these incredible abilities to create his terrifying illusions.
And this reveal isn't just about a clever trick, is it? It's more profound.
It really is. It's an insight into his tragic genius. His extraordinary talents aren't used for fame or connection, but to conjure an illusion of terrifying power, to control people. Precisely because his true self is so utterly rejected.
A dark mirror of the human desire for influence, twisted by suffering.
Exactly. And his desperate need for love, coupled with his immense self-taught genius, leads to truly ingenious, albeit horrifying, torments.
The choice he gives Christine. The scorpion and the grasshopper.
Utterly harrowing. Turn the scorpion for yes marriage to Erik, saving Raoul the Persian and a whole quarter of Paris from gunpowder, he's plaintive.
Or turn the grasshopper for no, and everyone dies in a horrific explosion.
It powerfully illustrates his desperate longing for connection, his brilliant capacity for manipulation, and his terrifying willingness to enact widespread destruction if denied the one thing he craves most.
Love. And he further uses his inventiveness to create these utterly convincing illusions within the torture chamber.
The equatorial forest with rising heat.
Roaring lions, which he actually imitates using a long table or timbrel with stretched catgut. Genius, but terrifying.
And ultimately, the horrifying illusion of water rising, threatening to drown them in the powder barrel cellar. It's a chilling, meticulous display of his genius, blended with utter madness, an almost theatrical flair for psychological torment.
He's not just physically disfigured, he's a master architect of terror and illusion.
Which brings us to the extraordinary and deeply human resolution of the story. Faced with unimaginable pressure, lives hanging in the balance, Christine makes her agonizing decision.
She turns the scorpion.
She does, agreeing to be Erik's living wife in exchange for the lives of Raoul and the Persian. This moment reveals not only her profound courage, but also her immense pity for Erik.
She sees the humanity beneath the monster.
I think so, recognizing it. It's a choice born of both fear and this almost unbearable empathy for his suffering.
And what happens next is, well, it's truly heart-wrenching. It's the pivotal moment of Erik's humanization.
His reaction is so raw, so vulnerable.
Deeply, profoundly human. He tore off his mask so as not to lose one of her tears, confessing, in this voice choked with emotion, "My mother would never let me kiss her."
Devastating.
And as Christine weeps with him, it signifies this shared humanity, a connection forged in sorrow that breaks through years of horror and isolation.
And in that moment of profound vulnerability, he gives her the ring.
A plain gold ring, a wedding ring. He asks her to give it to Raoul, calling it my wedding present.
And then he lets him go.
Unbelievably, yes, frees them both, making Christine promise to return after his death to bury him with that ring.
And Leroux, staying true to his investigative mission, confirms Erik's lonely, tragic end. That advertisement in the Epoch newspaper.
Just simply, Erik is dead.
And the author's final proofs solidify his assertions, don't they? Connecting all the threads, the Persian's detailed manuscript, Christine's poignant papers.
And most definitively, the discovery of Erik's skeleton years later, still wearing that very gold ring, buried precisely as Christine had promised.
He even finally explains the mystery of the stolen money, the 40,000 francs.
Revealing it was taken through a cleverly concealed trap door in the floor of the manager's office, reinforcing Erik's chilling nickname, the trapdoor lover.
All these pieces, once disparate, now form a complete, if tragic, picture.
So what does this all mean for the opera ghost? Leroux concludes with this poignant, almost mournful reflection on Erik's tragic genius. His extraordinary ugliness was profoundly compensated by extraordinary gifts of dexterity and imagination.
He possessed a heart that could have held the empire of the world, but in the end...
Due to his deformity and isolation, he had to content himself with a cellar. It's a truly heartbreaking fate for such a brilliant, tormented soul, a testament to the profound waste of potential.
Indeed. We've journeyed through Leroux's painstaking inquiry, haven't we? Unearthing not just the tragic figure of Erik, but Leroux's brilliant method of weaving journalistic proof into this captivating narrative.
It really shows how a master storyteller can use the guise of reality to amplify these profound, timeless themes. Isolation, unrequited love, the monstrousness born of rejection.
Leroux himself urged us to pity the opera ghost.
Yeah. Why? Because his crimes, his horrors, ultimately stem from an unparalleled ugliness that denied him basic human connection. He was left to express a sublime genius only in darkness and despair, desperately seeking to be loved for myself.
Makes you consider the profound impact of isolation, doesn't it? And that fundamental human need for acceptance, and what happens when that need is utterly denied.
This deep dive truly reveals the hidden depths of a story you thought you knew.
Absolutely, and it leaves us to ponder. What other ghost stories or enduring legends might hold a kernel of verifiable truth beneath their fantastical surfaces, just waiting for a diligent inquirer like Leroux to unearth them?
And what profound human truths would those unearthed realities reveal? Something to think about.